Welcome, AEIS artist. Today or yesterday or recently you learned a little bit about Georgia OKeeffe. So March is Women's History Month, and so we are going to connect our next project with a female artist. The students before you who worked with clay slabs, they did it in February, and February is African American Heritage Month, so they learned about Kimmy Contrall, an African American artist. But since we're now in March, I am going to make a connection with a female artist, Georgia OKeeffe. Georgia OKeeffe, as you heard, some of the facts about her, is a female artist who lived almost till she was 100. And she did art all along the way. So we're going to use her as our inspiration. And as you saw, she featured many different things. She's most famous for either her skulls, or her flowers. So I'm going to focus on her flowers and create a clay slab relief, meaning that the slab is going to be dimensional. We're just not going to carve into the clay slab, we're going to build on it. So everybody will eventually get a clay slab, and today you're going to get a sheet of paper in which you're going to do your brainstorming or create your idea of what you want to do. So I did two different flowers. So I'm going to, you guys are use a pencil, but I'm going to use a marker so that you can see. And I'm going to tilt my camera down so we can see what I'm working on. So I am working with two pieces, and again, you have to kind of think about the pieces that this is all going to break into. So I need a base on which my flowers are going to sit. So in this one, I'm going to make a triangle. So you can think about a geometric space that your plants, your flowers are going to sit on. And then I'm going to make a tulip or tulip-like shape. I'm going to just make a generic type of flower. And now I'm going to make a circle. So again, these are just representations of flowers. So I have my design that I want to do. This is the design that I'm going to do. And now I've outlined it so that I can see it, because what we want to do, because we're going to cut out these pieces, we want to put them on another piece of paper so that we have our original design to go off of, and then pattern pieces. So what you're going to do is you're going to create pattern pieces. So in a bigger sheet of paper, you're going to now lay that on top of your pattern, and now you're going to trace each of those shapes individually. So I'm going to trace my base, and then I have to move my paper, find another section, and trace the next big shape. Okay, and I'm going to move my paper and draw my next shape. And I have one more big shape, a circle. Doesn't really matter where I put it. So I'm just tracing out the big designs that I'm going to then use. So now I'm making pattern pieces. So now I'm going to cut out all of these shapes. Okay, so the next step is to cut them out. I also have another design that I like as well, and this is this design. So again, tilting my camera down, I'm going to, the base of this piece that I'm going to build on is going to be a rectangle. I'm then going to have a circle and some more rectangle pieces. You want to make sure that your rectangle pieces are kind of wide so that they'll attach really easily. If they're too skinny, the chances of them breaking in the process of drawing and then me moving them a couple times is better if they're tiny. So this is my next design that I kind of like. And for these circles, I don't think I'm going to cut out clay. I think I'm going to roll little circles. So on this design, what I would do is, again, trace my base onto another sheet of paper. And this is what I'm going to cut out. So this is my base, and then I'm going to trace my circle, the centerpiece. Okay. And then I am going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 rectangles, so I'm going to create those. So again, what I'm creating is the patterns that I'm going to use so that I know what type of clay, what size, what shape that I want to do. So once you have traced all of your pattern pieces onto your bigger sheet of paper, you're then going to cut them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, and 8. So I've traced out, separated out each of my pieces. So this is my design. These are all the pattern pieces I'm going to need. So I'm going to cut these out. So your next step is to cut all of those out. So you're going to cut all your pieces out, and then you'll be ready to work with the clay. So the next day, tomorrow, you'll get your clay. This is your clay slab. And you're going to need to arrange all of your pieces onto your clay slab. And I would start with your base. Whatever the base is that you're going to use, you're going to put that down in your clay first. And it looks like I might need a little more clay. So I might need some more clay. So I'm cutting out all of my pieces, and I'm going to arrange them on my clay. If you need another slab of clay, we can share and do that, because I don't have enough, so I will have to do another. So I'll have to cut some more slabs. So that you can see what I'm doing is I'm cutting my pieces out and I'm putting it on my slab of clay. So you want to make sure you're using the clay. So this piece here I can move over here more. So you want to arrange your pattern pieces, I'm going to call them pattern pieces, so that they fit onto your clay piece. So try to get them the best. So here I probably could turn it this way, and this one could go this way. So I'm arranging all of my pattern pieces onto the clay. And like I said, I won't have enough on this particular clay that I had cut for all of them. All right, so, okay. And then I still have some more pieces, so I'm gonna have to find some, I'll have to use another, at least a little bit of a clay slab. So once you have your pieces all laid down, your next step is to use one of the tools that you have. And the tools that you will have is you have a couple tools. You're going to have a scoring tool. So the steps for creating with clay are to score, to slip, and we're each going to get a little cup and put some water in it. Not a lot of water, just a little bit of water. And you want to stick. You want to score, slip, and stick. And then, of course, smooth. But the really important pieces are score, slip, and stick. You have to really press your pieces together. So the tools that you'll have is a little cup to put water in. You'll have your scoring tool. You'll have a clay knife to cut your pieces out with. You'll also have a little clay stick here in which you can draw a design or to trace your piece onto the clay. And then a lot of you will also have a colored pencil. So if you want to hang your piece up or add any dangling pieces, you need to add a hole. So, tilting my camera down a little bit. With this piece here, what you're going to do is you're going to trace And I would start with your base first, your base. So I'm going right around my base. Okay. So that I know where it's going to be. If I pick up my paper, I can see where it's going to be. And then with my knife, I'm going to press down onto the styrofoam. The extra clay, just put aside, because you might want to use that. So I have cut out my base. On the back, you want to put your name. So carefully pick it up. With this tool, you're going to put your name. You don't have to put your teacher's name if you don't want to. You want to put your name. So I would put your first name and then your last initial, just in case there's 2 people in your grade level. All right, take your paper off. Move all of your tools off of the other styrofoam and put your base down. You can smooth it with your finger. You don't need to smooth it with the water. The water is only going to make it really, really wet. So I have my base down. I have my design paper, so I know what it is I'm creating. Here we go. Handy. And now I'm going to cut out another piece. So I'm going to cut out, you know what, I have to cut out my circle. So I don't have my clay for my circle, but I'm going to cut out my pieces. So let's say the first piece I'm going to add is one of my petals. So I traced it with my stick, I cut it out, and I'm going to place it down onto my base. So what you're going to do is you're going to decide where you're going to put it, and ideally I'd have my circle here. So I'm going to put it here. With your skinny stick, you're going to outline where it touches the base. You're going to remove that so you can kind of see where it touches the base. In that space, you're going to score. So I'm going to stand up so you can see. I'm going to score my piece. I'm also going to score the back of this piece. So I'm roughing up both the piece I'm attaching and also my base. I'm going to have gotten water, stick your finger in the water, smooth it, put the water onto your clay base, place your piece there and press down. Of course, smooth anything that you want to smooth, but you need to press. Okay, and then cut out your next piece, place it, outline so that you know where you're going to score, slip, and press. Score, slip, and press. It's so, so very important. Again, having your name on your base before you start building. So enjoy creating with your clay slab. So we're creating a clay relief, meaning that it's going to, your clay piece is going to come above. It's not going to be flat. You can see it's going to be dimensional. And then you can also draw designs into your clay base with your designing stick or your tracing stick. So once you have all your pieces down, you can kind of create some designs. And when you do that, when you draw into clay, it picks up clay. So you have to pat down the edges so that you don't have a lot of rough. So I'm going to draw a couple little pieces. Again, you're drawing and you're tapping down and smoothing. So enjoy creating, being inspired by Georgia OKeeffe, the artist that we are learning about and looking at, and enjoy creating your flower relief sculpture, because it's made of clay, so it's a relief sculpture, inspired by Georgia OKeeffe. Now you could also do, because remember she also did skulls, so if you want to create a skull, you certainly can. So with your piece, you just have to have it on a base. So this would be your base. You're going to, and I'll move my camera down a little bit. You're going to create a skull. So I'm going to do my base. And you know what? I think I'm going to do a circle base. So this will be my base. And now I'm going to draw a skull. So you can think about a skull. So she liked to do like skulls she found in the desert. So she originally is from Wisconsin, but then she moved to New Mexico, and in the deserts in New Mexico, she would travel around and find skulls that were in the desert. And usually they were goats, maybe horses that died of thirst or old age. So you can draw a skull. Now this is kind of silly because I didn't really have a skull in mind, but you can draw a skull. So if you don't want to draw flowers, you certainly can be inspired by the different skulls that she found, not human skulls, but animal skulls that she found in the desert. So enjoy. I look forward to seeing what you're going to be creating. Again, we'll all get one sheet of paper that we're going to design on. Once you design it, you're then going to break out your shapes onto another sheet of paper, cut those out, and these will be your patterns that you'll use to put on your clay slab. So enjoy creating your relief sculpture.